When it comes to character types in Big Brother, my absolute favorite type of player is the chaotic messmaker. Someone who isn't afraid to go against the grain and make a big splash, even if it puts a target on their back. This is the type of player that others fear, not for their gameplay, but because of the storm they're capable of creating. When the Big Brother 26 cast was first announced, there were a few players I had my eyes on, hoping that they might be that next big chaotic messmaker. But I was looking in the wrong direction. Meet Angela Murray, the main character of today. Angela came into the game as an unassuming presence, but it wouldn't take long for her to completely flip the house upside down and set the pace for what would soon become one of the most high-speed, exhilarating seasons of all time. Angela's role during this summer was so unique that we're gonna do things a little bit differently today. This video isn't detailing the journey of how Angela won the season, because she didn't win the season, but her story was so one of a kind that halfway through the airing of the season, I declared that I would be making a video about Angela regardless of if she won or not. So here I am, fulfilling my promise. What is it exactly that made Angela's tale so worth telling? Let's find out. This is the story of how Angela Murray lost Big Brother 26.
My name's Angela, and I'm a real estate agent here in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm not like normal moms. Like, I'm a cool mom. Whose mom is this?
If you're new here, consider subscribing, as we are about 6,000 subscribers away from hitting my goal of 100,000. Thanks. Angela Murray was a 50-year-old real estate agent from Salt Lake City, Utah, and she was a big fan of the show, watching each and every summer since Big Brother 12. Angela's intro package showed her saying the classic line, "I'm not like normal moms, I'm a cool mom." And you know what? I believed her. Based on initial impressions, Angela came across as this sweet, motherly figure that was a little bit over the top, but largely just grateful to have the things she did in her life. And I was happy for her that she was about to live out this experience of being in the Big Brother house. Did I have the biggest expectations for her? No. But I thought she would be a fun and kooky and overall positive presence on the show. But oh boy, I was not anywhere close to being prepared to experience the truth of who Angela was and what she was about to bring on this show. And to be honest, I'm not sure if Angela did either.
I will be cutthroat when I need to be. I will have the dagger behind my back. I am coming for you, Big Brother. I am coming for you.
Angela entered the Big Brother house alongside 15 other strangers, and before she even got a chance to get to know any of them, she was instantly whisked into the backyard with her group of 8 players, and they were faced with a decision. A 17th house guest named Ainsley was ready to enter the game as a player, but her fate rested in the hands of these 8 house guests. In order for her to join the game, at least 5 of the 8 of them would have to independently say yes. Otherwise, she wouldn't enter the game, and the number of players would stay at 16. While adding another player to the game is admittedly adding one more hurdle in your way to the win, Angela saw things a little differently.
She looks like she wants to be the center of attention, so that's fine. Let the attention be on Ainsley, and I will fly under the radar a bit.
So she voted yes. Ultimately, though, only 3 others said yes, meaning that Ainsley wouldn't be joining the game as a player. But guess what? It was all a trick. Ainsley was actually a being of artificial intelligence that would also be the prominent theme of the entire season, and her first act of trickery was this very vote. Anyone that voted no would be punished and forced to play in a competition where the loser would have their game downgraded in the first week. But anyone who voted yes would be rewarded and would compete for a special upgrade. Angela's decision to vote yes proved to be the correct one, and she was riding high. Unfortunately, she performed less than stellarly in the competition, but at least she didn't receive a punishment.
Green, red, ah! The room is
Now, before the players went out to compete in the first HOH, they finally got the chance to give their introductions and actually meet each other.
I love this woman's energy.
Right off the bat, Angela hit it off with Joseph, Chelsea, Cedric, and T-Core, and she even proposed that the 5 of them begin to think about creating an alliance together, which was a great proactive move from Angela.
You guys date, and then maybe see what kind of alliance we can get going.
I think this idea is good, and we can work through this game together.
Angela also came across as super fun and the life of the party, and she could have ridden out that persona if she wanted to. But to Angela, that would be boring. She didn't come to Big Brother to just have fun. She came to stir up, and she was gonna start right from the get-go. In the bathroom, she made an offhand joke about Matt's back hurting and how nobody should help him fix it until after the game is over. This was clearly just for a laugh, nothing to get too worked up over. But then she just kept going with Matt. Matt was this tall, conventionally attractive guy, someone who was clearly put in the house as eye candy in the hopes that he would be involved in a showmance. And Angela told him, right to his face, that that's why he was here. Angela was already clocking Matt as a big threat, and she wasn't afraid to say it like it was.
You're eye candy. You know you're gonna get a showmance here. We all know it.
I think he's just gonna have these girls like in the palm of his hand.
Yo, Angela, was that smoke? You know, like, are you actually coming for me right now?
Now, some may say that it's not great strategy to already be singling out somebody before the first HOH is crowned. I'd be tempted to agree. But someone taking little pop shots like 6 hours after the game started for no real reason is so entertaining. Like, she really didn't need to do any of this, but she did it anyways. That's awesome. Unfortunately, Angela was now on Matt's radar, and he started spreading his worries across the house with players like Kenny.
The person that I feel like we need to be afraid of is definitely Angela. I'm telling you, she's the one. She's the big threat.
Historically, the older house guests are often nominated in the first week as easy targets, and now that Angela's name was already floating throughout the house, she seemed like she could be a very likely nominee if the wrong person came into power. So, going into this first HOH competition, the outcome was actually very important for Angela in particular. Angela was going to gun for the win, but the odds weren't going to be in her favor. There were 13 other players fighting for that crown. However, I don't think any of them were nearly as determined to win as Angela was. This competition was a gauntlet of competitions, where each round a handful of players would be eliminated. The game largely ended up being shuffleboard with extra rules, and Angela was actually performing quite well. She survived being eliminated through the first 3 rounds, with a super clutch shot in round 3 to stay alive. Angela was in the final round, competing against Leah and Kenny. The pressure was at an all-time high, but Angela isn't the type to crumble under pressure. She thrives in it. So, she readied her shot. She took her shot, and she crushed her shot, getting the highest score in the round and becoming the first head of household of the season.
Yes, mama! Yes!
That's fucking good!
Congratulations, Angela.
Forget who's your mama, who's your new HOH!
Angela was safe. She beat the odds, she held the power, and Matt was sitting on the sidelines, shaking in his damn boots. Angela very likely could have been a target this week, but she won this competition instead and would live to see another day. Life number 1.
Angela, I won the first HOH.
Now, instead of the typical 2 nominees each week, there would actually be 3, all thanks to a new twist called the AI Arena. Basically, the week would play out completely as normal, just with 3 people on the block instead of 2. Then, on eviction night, just minutes before the eviction vote, the 3 nominees would face off in a competition called the AI Arena, where the winner would earn safety and take themselves off the block, and the 2 losers would then face the eviction vote as normal. What this meant for Angela is that she now needed to nominate an extra person, making her job as HOH a bit tougher. Luckily, 2 of the nominees were really easy. Kenny had proven himself as a competitor in the first HOH, and Angela decided really quickly that he was going to be a nominee. Then, after holding one-on-one meetings with the other house guest, it seemed that a lot of the house didn't really vibe with Lisa. So boom, that was easy nominee number 2. But who was going to be that third nominee? Well, you might think that Matt would be the obvious choice. Joseph even informed Angela that Matt was continuing to talk throughout the house about how she was totally gunning for him.
Thanks because you mentioned him and someone else being in a showman's one time that you're trying to put a target on him, and he keeps telling people out loud.
I am so thankful and glad that Joseph told me that.
But Angela took a different approach. Matt was a big threat, and with the addition of the AI Arena, he had a great chance of winning safety this week and then coming for Angela immediately afterwards. So instead of continuing to push an all-out war, Angela tried to clear the air with Matt and start over. She brought him upstairs, apologized to him, and told him that she never actually wanted to come after him. Angela was doing all the right things, and it seemed like the wound might actually heal between them.
Maybe just kind of clear the air a little bit. Yeah. You're just so beautiful, and I thought, oh my gosh, there's so many pretty girls in this house, and I am so sorry that I did that. To go on to.
Yeah.
But then Matt screwed it all up. Amid the conversation, Matt started talking about how he really thought Angela was going to target him, and how he himself was ready to gear up for war and come swinging for Angela if she put him up. Now, admittedly, Matt was saying this in the context of if Angela was taking a shot at him, which he now assumed she wasn't since she cleared the air with him. But the way he was saying it felt kinda combative. Almost as if he was reminding Angela, like, hey, even though we've cleared the air, know that I will not hesitate to come at you guns ablaze if you nominate me. Don't get it twisted. The fact that he was so open about how ready he was to fight this war against Angela really rubbed her the wrong way, and she was now more unsettled than before they had had the conversation.
I was like, you want to put me up? Let's go. And if I win next week, I promise.
You're scaring me.
Did he just say that to me? Like, was that a threat?
While Angela could have taken the first swing and nominated Matt as the third nominee, she wanted to play it safe after that conversation. So when nominations came, she kept Matt off the block and instead nominated Kenny, Lisa, and Chemo. Chemo was someone who she didn't talk to very much beforehand, but he was a very obvious pawn for the house. And Angela's initial target was Kenny.
I nominated you, Lisa, Chemo, and you, Kenny. I'm so sorry.
Chemo and Lisa really haven't shown enough initiative and effort with me, but my real target is Kenny.
Following nominations, Angela tried doing some damage control with both Chemo and Lisa, telling them individually that they were just pawns to get Kenny out. Chemo seemed pretty receptive to it. Lisa, not as much, but oh well. Angela was much more concerned that after nominations, Matt didn't even have the decency to say thank you to Angela. Not a hug, not a smile, not even any eye contact. And this pissed Angela off a fair amount. He should be thanking her, since he was this close to being a nominee, and the rift between her and Matt started to open up again.
No hug, like not even eye contact. He should be grateful that I didn't put him up.
Anyways, enough about Matt. There were 14 other players in that house with Angela, and she needed some numbers if she wanted to make a deep run in the game. Pretty quickly after Angela had won the HOH, Quinn went upstairs to Angela to see if they could work together. And in a sign of good faith, Quinn revealed to her that he had actually won one of the 2 upgrade powers from the first night. Quinn had the deepfake HOH power, which would anonymously allow him to completely take over one of the first 4 HOHs. Quinn feeling comfortable enough with Angela to share this crucial information was fantastic, and Angela felt like she could really trust Quinn because of it. So, with this newfound trust, the 2 of them formed a final 2 alliance.
I won the power.
He has a power and he shared it with me.
Oh my god. Wait, are we about to solidify?
I think we are.
Then, out of nowhere, a perfect opportunity fell right into Angela's lap. The night following nominations, Quinn and Joseph, the 2 people you could argue were Angela's 2 closest allies at this point, came upstairs and told Angela that they had formed an 8-person group called the Collective, and they wanted Angela to be a part of it. This alliance included all the people that Angela already wanted to work with, that being Quinn, Joseph, Chelsea, Cedric, and T-Core, with the additions of Cam and Chemo as well.
There was a squad of people who like you.
It's called the Collective. T-Core, him, me, Chelsea, Cam, Cedric,
Do you like it?
This was perfect. These 7 people genuinely wanted to work with Angela, and having an alliance of this size and caliber would be the very thing that Angela would need to get really far into the game. Angela said yes, this is great, and was excited to be a part of the group.
Love it.
Quinn and Joseph then left for the night, and then everything went to shit.
I am acting like I'm excited about this idea, but it's just a hoax.
You see, Angela didn't actually believe that Quinn or Joseph or any of these people actually wanted to be in an alliance with her. Angela figured that this whole pitch from them was fake and that it was all a part of Matt's master plan. Angela had been spending a lot of time in the HOH room just watching the other house guests on the TV, and she saw Matt talking with a lot of the people that she wanted to work with. Quinn, Joseph, Chelsea. So Angela came to the conclusion that Matt was recruiting these people to not just join his alliance and his side of the house, but to also go against Angela and take her out. Angela thought that Quinn and Joseph pitching this alliance to her was really just a hoax to make her feel comfortable. All the while, they were all getting together behind her back, slowly plotting her demise. It was everyone against her, and at the heart of it was Matt.
I'm watching Matt completely steamrolling through this house. And now he's going after people that I was trying to work with, pitching me this fake alliance. But I'm not that gullible. I'm not buying it.
Angela's paranoia got the best of her in this moment, and it kept her up for most of the night. Differing thoughts and scenarios ran rampant through her head, and she needed to do something about it.
I cannot wait to crucify Crazy Eyes. Don't mess with Mama.
So, the following morning, while everyone was hanging out in the kitchen, Angela made her grand entrance from the HOH room. And she called Matt out in front of everyone. She didn't just call him out, though. She made a show of it, telling everyone that he threatened her the night before, and giving him the cute new nickname of Crazy Eyes, and basically declaring that she loves everyone in the house except for Matt.
Matt. I am so flattered that I am a threat to you. He very aggressively threatened me verbally on our one-on-one. Oh, yeah.
That's literally not true.
Crazy Eyes.
Are you referring to me as
You're
Crazy Eyes?
They're like, oh, I really just want to have fun with you guys. Except for you, don't talk to me. You better believe you're going up on the block.
Then, ironically, she let Quinn and Joseph know that she saw right through them and that she knew the collective was fake.
For the visitors that came to visit me last night, your performance was great for a low-budget movie.
The thing is, none of this was actually happening. Well, okay, the way Matt worded things in their one-on-one was kind of weird, so I do give Matt a little bit of the blame here. But the collective alliance, that was real. Quinn, Joseph, Chelsea, T-Core, all of them actually wanted to work with Angela. But after this event in the kitchen, they kinda all changed their tune and realized that they couldn't possibly work with someone like Angela, including Quinn. So there goes that final two.
Angela, what are you doing? We were not lying. We genuinely want you part of the team, dude.
Now I don't trust her till keep her mouth shut.
Mama Angela, there was no need for that.
While this was probably the most exciting thing anyone has ever done on day 3 or 4 or whatever day it was, in terms of the game, this definitely was not ideal for Angela to do all of this. But at the very least, it did put more of a spotlight onto Matt. So that's something. Her and Matt continued to go at it in front of everyone, but the difference here was that Angela was already safe. Matt was not safe, and Angela declared that she was coming after him.
Your words are so you should just put it back in your ass.
Wow.
You can't be pretty on the outside when you're ugly on the in.
You know what's tough is my mom is gonna watch you
Oh,
as
I
a
hope
mom
she
talk to
does.
me. I mean, we're back to where we started, right?
You started it. I should never have had to apologize to you.
You should have to.
Knew Angela completely, because I'm gunning for you.
Lisa ended up winning the veto, and this was exactly what Angela wanted. She had a golden opportunity to name Matt as the replacement nominee, and she took it. At the veto meeting, Lisa came off and Matt went up. Angela wasn't scared to take a big swing in week 1, and she was proving it here.
This is just a game, and I have to follow my heart. I'm putting you up, Matt.
Angela. When I stay in this house, these crazy eyes are gonna be locked in on you.
Now, just as Matt had promised, he was now coming after her. So, Angela desperately prayed that either Kenny or Chemo would win the AI arena, because if Matt won it, then he'd be safe, and Angela would be in big trouble. However, Kenny started telling Angela that he wasn't sure if he wanted to beat Matt, because he liked Matt a lot and wanted him to stay over himself. Kenny, dude, what the hell? Luckily, Angela was there to tell him off.
Kenny, I'm actually counting on you.
I don't have the desire to do it to him.
Are you kidding me right now? You have no desire for your life in this game because you don't want to go and beat him?
Yeah, I have loyalty to him.
Matt is not your son.
Well, he's the son of somebody who I respect highly, and I don't even know him.
You don't want it as bad as I do.
You definitely do.
I did.
Who the hell are you, Angela?
Some might say that it wasn't a great game move for Angela to pick a fight with another house guest, but come on, it's not like her and Kenny were about to be ride or die allies anytime soon. So I don't think that this was actually that bad for her game. In fact, having another public enemy might even be a good thing for her because it gives the other house guests less of an incentive to get rid of her. So heck yeah, go off, Angela. Despite her bickering with Kenny, Matt was still obviously target number 1 for Angela. Eviction night came, the 3 nominees went into the AI arena, and the winner ended up being
Chemo. Gentlemen, come.
Angela was obviously ecstatic at this outcome. Matt was stuck on the block next to Kenny, and now it was time for the eviction vote. Even though many of the house guests were much more hesitant to work with Angela now after her kitchen incident, that didn't take away from the fact that Matt was indeed a huge threat, and most of the house secretly came together and formed a plan to evict him. Only Mackenzie, Leah, and Lisa were left out of this plan. Mackenzie and Leah weren't given a heads up because they had been obviously aligned with Matt from the beginning, and Lisa didn't know about it because nobody really cared about her enough in a game sense to let her in on the plan. So everyone cast their votes to evict, and by a vote of 8-3, Matt was blindsided, and he became the first person evicted from the Big Brother 26 house.
Hello, Cam.
How are you doing, Julie?
I'm well, thank you. Please cast your vote to evict.
I vote to evict Matt. Matt.
Kenny.
By a vote of 8-3, Matt, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
Woo! He thought he had everyone in the house wrapped around his finger. And who sent him packing? Me.
Talk about a first week. Angela made an enemy, put her money where her mouth was, and then got that enemy evicted. It was literally a round one knockout. You couldn't ask for anything better. Well, actually, I guess you could ask for a little better, because Angela's position in the house was actually now abysmal. Mackenzie and Leah had been blindsided by the vote, and they wanted revenge. They basically vowed to avenge Matt and were gunning for the week 2 HOH to try and take out Angela.
All I can do now is buckle down, win this head of household for Matt.
What I'm hoping is that I win HOH and I can put Angela on the block and that she gets her ass home.
We're doing this for Matt. And this week, she's going down.
Then, of course, you have Lisa, Kenny, and Chemo, who were all probably not that thrilled with Angela since she nominated them all.
I am so fired up. I'm ready to go. Number 3, come for you, Angela.
And then you had pretty much everyone else in the house, aka the collective, and they were also not super in love with Angela because she proved that she couldn't really be trusted and that she could make a scene at any point.
If this is how Angela's gonna act for the rest of the season as my ally, then I don't know if I can work with her anymore.
So, maybe Angela was fine with the 3 remaining players, that being Brooklyn, Rubina, and Tucker. But even then, Angela didn't have any real relation with any of those people, and they weren't about to stick their neck out to save Angela. So, after her first HOH, Angela was kind of on an island of her own, and she was looking like the easiest week 2 target imaginable. So she was either going to have to make a few good adjustments or get a few lucky breaks if she wanted a chance at surviving week 2.
I'm feeling there is some danger going into this week because I kind of feel like I'm going to be nominated.
Heading into week 2, Angela had to sit out of the HOH comp as the prior HOH, and there were definitely a handful of people that Angela didn't want to win power. As luck would have it, she actually got a pretty okay result once Chelsea won the HOH. Angela thought that she had a chance of not going on the block with her first night pal in power, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Chelsea told Angela right away that she was going to be nominated because she kind of ticked off everyone last week.
It's kind of obvious I need to put her up on the block. She pissed so many people off week 1. It would be almost dumb of me to not put her up this week.
But she would actually be a pawn to get rid of Lisa, because Lisa was still driving a lot of people crazy in the house by constantly putting glitter in their food. So Angela officially saw the block for the first time once Chelsea nominated her, Kenny, and Lisa for eviction.
I think Chelsea nominated me because it was the easiest thing she could do. I mean, I went a little cray-cray in this house.
Being on the block sucks, but it sucks a little bit less when you're not the target. All Angela needed to do was lay low, keep quiet, and things would work themselves out. So, of course, Angela chose to do the exact opposite of that. Angela was already paranoid enough when she was the HOH, the safest position you could be in. So imagine how she was feeling while she was nominated for eviction. Angela naturally felt like she was the actual target for the week, not Lisa, so in her mind, it would be silly to lay low and do nothing. While hanging out in the kitchen, she noticed that Tikor, Cedric, Cam, and Chelsea were all hanging out in a corner in the backyard, and Angela put together that those 4 were a group and working together. Angela discreetly went to Quinn and told him that the 4 people hanging out outside were the group.
But I look over at the hammock and I can see 3 people that I was already looking out for. And then Cam was over there too. I need to let Quinn see who these people are that maybe we can work with.
That's the group.
Now, on the episode, Angela stated that she was saying this in the context of the group of people that she wanted to work with. However, if that was the case, she definitely didn't do a good job clarifying that to Quinn, and rather, it seemed like she was pointing out that those 4 players were a group that they needed to watch out for.
What I'm getting from Angela is that the group out at the hammock is one that we need to worry about.
Quinn then told Tikor what Angela had said, who then told Cedric, who then told Chelsea. who was the HOH. Chelsea then confronted Angela about it, basically saying, hey, not only is this putting a target on the 4 of ours backs when we were legitimately just chilling, but this is also putting a target on your back. Angela explained her point of view to Chelsea here about how this was the group that she wanted to work with, not go after, but the main takeaway that Angela got from this is that Quinn totally ratted her out, and she was upset.
I heard through the grapevine, you have verbally said that's the group you need to watch out for.
My intentions of doing that was letting Quinn know this is a group that I want to work with. Quinn is the only one I said that to.
Quinn has completely betrayed my trust. I'm so hurt by Quinn right now.
So she called Quinn out in the bathroom and expressed her disappointment with him. Tikor then joined in as well in an attempt to clear up any miscommunications and get to the bottom of what Angela really meant.
Can I ask what happened?
You were out there with several people in the hammock, and I basically said, that's the group. I didn't say, watch out.
I thought that you were trying to like tip me off to like something to be nervous about.
You're just assuming I wanted to get in that group, Quinn.
Tikor let Angela explain herself and then calmly communicated to Angela the optics of the situation and how things might look when Angela was grouping together the people of color. Now, this would be similar to what Kyle did in Big Brother 24. However, I don't think that this was what Angela was doing. Angela was doing this sort of thing with pretty much every group of people that she saw together. Just last week, she put it in her head that Matt had successfully gathered everyone in the house towards his side simply because she saw Matt talking to a few people from her HOH room. I really saw this as Angela's paranoia blinding her to think that anytime there was a group of people hanging out, that they were in an alliance, or at the very least, there were some game implications at play. Once Tikor brought up how this could look, though, Angela became emotionally frantic, trying desperately to convey that that was in no way a part of her thought process. Even if her heart was in the right place, she wasn't going about it in the best way, and she kind of came across as overly defensive and didn't really allow for the conversation to continue between herself and Tikor. This understandably upset Tikor, and she walked away.
I want you to understand when a group of people of color gather.
No, don't put that in there.
I'm not saying that that's what
Please
you
don't put
meant.
that in there.
Like
Listen,
that. And that's why I'm glad that we
I'm hurt from that too. That's a horrible thing to say.
Okay.
Angela's emotions were running at an all-time high, and it led to a kind of funny moment where she was just shaking Cedric while telling him how much she loved him. But this was still a serious topic. After taking some time to let her emotions come down, Angela realized that how she reacted in the moment was wrong, and how she didn't give Tikor an opportunity to continue the conversation. So she went to Tikor and apologized to her, took accountability for how she had acted, and acknowledged that she should have been more receptive to what Tikor was trying to say. Tikor forgave Angela, and the miscommunication was resolved, and the two left the conversation on good terms.
I'm sorry I upset you.
I wasn't hearing her out in her feelings.
I wasn't sensitive to what you were trying to say to me.
I really appreciate you coming to me right now and saying that. I think it was all just a big misunderstanding. All is forgiven in my eyes.
So, thankfully, all was well in the house, and everything was back to being A-okay for Angela. Except no, of course that's not true. Even if the personal side of things had been cleared up, this whole situation absolutely tanked Angela's game. This was the second week in a row where Angela was the root of some sort of big house conflict, and the target had now shifted off of Lisa and onto her. To make matters worse, at the veto competition, Angela was unable to win it to secure her safety, and instead, Kenny won. Tucker volunteered to be a pawn on the block since it was pretty clear that whoever went up next to Angela and Lisa would be so super safe. And now, Angela would have to compete against two very capable competitors in the AI arena. Angela was all alone. She was on the block, she knew that she was the target, and the odds were stacked against her in the arena. But she did still have one thing up her sleeve: the knowledge that Quinn had a power. Now that Quinn had ratted her out and defamed her character to Tikor, he was dead to her in the game, and Angela wanted to find a way to leverage the information she had to keep her in the house. One of the reasons that Lisa had initially been a target is that a lot of players were suspecting that Lisa, in fact, had one of these powers. But Angela knew that wasn't true. Angela went up to Tucker, someone that Angela thought had a lot of influence in the house, and actually told him that she thought Quinn had a power.
I know that you know 100% who has the other power, but I think Quinn has it. And he is a snake in the grass.
However, Angela's credibility in the house was at an all-time low. People just didn't believe her. So not only did Tucker disregard Angela when she said this, but everyone in the house just straight up didn't believe her when she said that Quinn had the power.
That's not who I think has it.
Angela, I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart that I don't know what you're talking about. I do not think Quinn has a power.
This here is hilarious for a couple of reasons. One, Angela actually was right. Quinn had the power, not Lisa. But this makes reason number 2 all the funnier. I won't get into the specifics, but long story short, even though there were 2 secret powers in play, Quinn having a power would 100% confirm that Lisa didn't have a power. However, people thinking that Lisa had a power was one of the only things that could potentially flip the target back onto Lisa, because if she had a power, that made her such a dangerous threat. So, if Angela had successfully managed to sabotage Quinn's game by convincing the house that he had the power, then that would inadvertently clear Lisa's name. In that case, there would be no reason to get Lisa out, because she is much less threatening if everyone knows she doesn't have a power. Angela was basically signing her own eviction notice by trying to get people to think that Quinn had the power. So thank God nobody was believing her.
Anything that comes out of her mouth is not true.
And she's like, yo, I 100% know who's got it. And I was like, yeah, who is it?
Yeah, she's coming up with lies, try to save herself.
Oh, and also, I guess Angela felt that she hadn't stirred enough pots this week, because she called Lisa a twit due to just being sick of her, which started a whole nother ordeal.
I don't know if it's my heightened senses, but Lisa just walks around and just rubs me wrong.
I don't really care.
You're welcome. I'm sure you do, you little twit.
Excuse me? Please stop bullying me.
Don't call me a bully, Lisa.
Don't call me a twit.
Well, you are. This is Big Brother.
I'm telling you, Angela was bringing the most amount of drama and entertainment in years. So it sucked that she was tanking her game and was gonna get evicted this week. Her only hope was to win the AI arena. When eviction night came, Angela knew her life was on the line and she was ready to give it her all and win this competition. But instead, Tucker crushed it and he won the arena. Well, this was it. Angela sat on the block next to Lisa, knowing that her time in the game had run out. One by one, the players went to cast their votes, and by a vote of 11-1, Lisa was evicted from the Big Brother house in a crazy blindside.
Hi, Joseph.
Hello, Julie.
Please cast your vote to evict.
A vote to evict Lisa.
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 Lisa, for some reason.
Angela.
By a vote of 11-1, Lisa, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
Angela was stunned. She thought for sure she was being evicted. So why wasn't she? Well, even with Angela causing so much turmoil this week, certain house guests, particularly Tucker, still preferred Lisa to leave over Angela on a personal level.
Angela has been emotionally a loose cannon, if you will. But regardless of all that, I still want Lisa gone.
On top of that, Angela having all these enemies in the house was actually proving to be a good thing. Chelsea realized that keeping Angela could be beneficial, as she knew that Mackenzie and Leah were still anti-Angela due to the Matt thing, and she hoped that those three could go at it in the future and just take each other out, buying everyone else in the house more time. And then the final reason is that Lisa was still seen as a better competitor than Angela. Somehow, After everything that Angela had done, it still wasn't enough to fully convince people to keep Lisa. But just so they didn't have to deal with all the extra drama, nobody told Lisa she was going home. And by extension, nobody told Angela that she was staying. The only person who wasn't in on the plan was Kenny, which is why he voted to evict Angela, because he thought everyone else was too.
That was the vote.
Against?
Yep.
I'm not shocked that Kenny was the one that voted for me. He's just not in touch with what's going on here.
Angela really should have been evicted this week, and it felt like she did everything in her power to inadvertently help make that happen. But Lisa was just too threatening, I guess, and she took the bullet instead. Life number 2.
I was floored when Julie said Lisa. She looked shocked. Second blind side of the season. And she left her darn glitter here. Shoot!
After surviving the eviction vote, Angela was eternally grateful to the other house guest and thanked them for keeping her. It was cute of her to do that, but everyone was secretly like, we only kept you because we wanted Lisa gone. You're still probably going home next.
I was prepared to go home. Thank you for keeping my dream alive and getting to be here. I'm big freaking brother.
Sorry, but pretty sure you're gonna be up on the block.
This felt extra true once Cedric won the third HOH and made it clear that Angela was not only his target, but the house's target as well. To Angela's credit though, she took a moment to reflect and realized that she actually needed to lay low this week if she wanted to survive. But it seemed like it was too little too late, and Cedric nominated her next to Kenny and Tucker, who both volunteered to be pawns.
Cedric put me up. I still felt like there was a glimmer of hope that he would nominate somebody who was a little bit bigger of a threat than myself, but he didn't.
Even though Angela wasn't stirring up this week and she was playing things so much better, her past weeks were haunting her. Quinn wanted her gone. Mackenzie and Leah wanted her gone. Cedric wanted her gone to get no blood on his hands. And everybody else had no qualms with seeing her leave. Angela was genuinely alone, and she had nobody she could rely on other than herself. So, originally, it seemed that if Angela didn't win the veto, she would be going home. But then randomly, out of nowhere, Kenny told Cedric that if he won the veto, he was not going to save himself, but rather he was going to save Angela.
I am gunning for the veto. Best case scenario, I win it. I pull Angela off.
Kenny said this, the only person to vote against Angela last week, someone who Angela had already nominated and gotten into a fight with in the first week. Why would Kenny do this? Well, the entire time that Kenny had been in the Big Brother house, he had been wanting to go home. He missed his family a great deal, and he was ready to leave. However, he didn't want to actually quit the game, and instead wanted to be voted out. But he knew that if he was on the block next to Angela, then the house would vote her out and keep him in the game. However, if he won the veto and used it on Angela, then she wouldn't be an option to evict, and everyone would be so mad at him for saving her that they would evict him and he could go home.
It will piss off the house, and then there's a good possibility that I go home.
One of my nominees wants to use the veto on another one of my nominees. Oh, what?
So, going into the veto, Angela technically had a 2 out of 6 chance of being safe. Unfortunately, though, neither her nor Kenny could get it done, and Tucker won the veto instead.
Run that up, baby!
Well, there goes that plan. Tucker was obviously going to use the veto to save himself, and Angela would stay nominated. It really didn't matter who the replacement nominee would be. There was no bigger target in the house than Angela, so it wouldn't change anything. At the veto ceremony, Angela watched as Tucker stood up, made the typical veto speech, and then used the veto on her.
It's Big Brother, expect the unexpected. Here you go, Angela.
What the f***? Tucker was on the block, and instead of saving himself, he saved Angela. For the second week in a row, Angela was blindsided in the best possible way. The staying alive in the game kind of way. She was absolutely speechless. She had no idea what had just happened or why that just happened. But luckily, I do. So let me explain. Remember how Angela was trying to convince everyone that Quinn had the power? Well, now that Lisa had been evicted and no power had been used, people were starting to think, hey, maybe Lisa didn't have the power. Then, conveniently, Chemo told Tucker that in week 1, Quinn did tell him that he had a power.
I'm only telling you this. Quinn does have it.
Well, would you look at that? Tucker realized that Angela had actually been telling the truth the prior week, and this changed everything for him. Quinn immediately became Tucker's primary target, and he wanted to make a big power move this week and get him out. He realized, though, that he couldn't just take himself off the block and ask Cedric to nominate Quinn. Even if he did, the House would still just vote out Angela. But if Tucker removed Angela off the block, not only would this take that option off the table, but now Tucker could also try and beat Quinn in the AI arena. And there was a good chance that Quinn would be evicted at that point. So just in case you didn't figure it out yet, this meant that somehow Angela was in a position where all 3 nominees were going to save her if they won the veto, which is probably something that will never, ever, ever happen again in Big Brother history. Anyways, Tucker decided that this was what he wanted to do, and he pitched the plan to Cedric.
What? Bro, what are you talking about? I thought I had to be worried about Kenny. Now I gotta worry about Tucker taking Angela off? Like, she's the house target, bro. What are you doing?
Turns out, Cedric wasn't really about that plan. But Tucker figured that if he used the veto on Angela anyways, it would force Cedric's hand and he would have to put Quinn up. So at the veto meeting, Tucker made the move and he used the veto on Angela, keeping her safe and extending her life in the game. All the while, she had no idea that it was going to happen. Life number 3.
Oh my God! I had no idea.
Was given the power of veto to stay and fight another week and watch the rest of the house guests squirm because they deserve to.
Now that Angela was safe, it didn't really matter what happened, but it still was really crazy, and I do have to tell you about it. After Tucker saved Angela, Cedric stood his ground and didn't go with Tucker's plan, so instead of nominating Quinn, he nominated Mackenzie. But wait, turns out Mackenzie had the second power this whole time, and her power was America's veto. With it, Mackenzie was able to take herself off the block, but instead of Cedric naming the replacement nominee, America would get to vote for who went up in her place, and it would be determined just minutes before the AI Arena competition.
This is Big Brother. This is Big Brother.
But wait, it somehow gets better for Angela. Tucker was furious with Cedric and declared him his #1 target in front of everyone. So Tucker was gunning for Cedric, and Mackenzie was also gunning for Cedric. And then, in the heat of it all, Tucker exposed to the entire house that Quinn had the deepfake HOH power. In a matter of minutes, not only did Angela get taken off the block, but Cedric, Tucker, and Quinn all became massive targets. Finally, someone in this house other than Angela was a target. This was definitely the best 20 minutes of the game for Angela, and it was awesome.
I have it. Do I have any interest in using it? No. I'm a firm. What's this about, dog? You can relax.
I just feel like you're a fan. You would use it.
Following these crazy events, Angela felt indebted to Tucker. He was her guy, and she was gonna ride with him until the end.
I can solidify something with Tucker, and we can move forward together, and we could rule this game.
Unfortunately, though, after his crazy stunt, Tucker became the new consensus target. Quinn, funnily enough, ended up being named America's replacement, but that didn't really matter because everyone agreed to not vote out whoever America nominated. So the only way for Tucker to survive would be if he won the AI arena. When eviction night came, Angela was really rooting for Tucker to pull out the win. And the winner ended up being
Tucker.
Angela was ecstatic, nearly in tears, because it seemed like she finally had an ally in the game and he wasn't going home.
I am so happy that Tucker won in the AI arena. I need to trust somebody, and Tucker is that somebody.
This left Kenny and Quinn on the block, but the decision for everyone was a pretty easy one. Everyone voted to evict Kenny with the exception of Tucker. So by a vote of 10-1, Kenny was evicted from the Big Brother house.
Hello, Angela.
Hi, Julie, you look beautiful.
Thank you, so do you. Please cast your vote to evict.
Sadly, I vote to evict Kenny.
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 Kenny. Kenny.
Kenny.
Kenny. Kenny.
Kenny.
Kenny.
Quinn.
By a vote of 10-1, Kenny, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
Although this was assuredly Angela's best week, she wasn't out of the woods just yet. Quinn was 100% using his power this upcoming week, which guaranteed that he would be the one making nominations. While Tucker was his new primary target, Angela was his backup target, so she was more than likely going to see the block and she still could get evicted.
Quinn has his power, so if I don't win HOH, he could very well put me right back up on the block.
Going into the week 4 HOH, Angela was absolutely gunning for it. Just because Quinn was basically the HOH already didn't mean that this competition was worthless. The winner would still be granted immunity, and with Quinn's crosshairs still hovering over Angela, that immunity was vital to have. The competition was a knockout comp, which was actually a pretty tough draw for Angela. She would have to win round after round after round. But this was her life on the line. She wasn't going to go down easy. First, she took out Chelsea. Then she took out Mackenzie. Then she took out Leah. Angela was cruising, and she was in the final round against Cam. With all the pressure in the world, Angela locked in and assumed her power stance. And she won it.
My feet are shaking. I've got no other choice but to win.
Sorry, Chelsea, you've been eliminated. Mackenzie, you've been eliminated.
Oh, damn it.
Leah, you've been eliminated. The correct answer is C. Congratulations, Angela. You are the new head of household.
Bingo. Angela, who was constantly underestimated as a competitor by her fellow house guest, had not only just won her second HOH within the first 4 weeks, but she did so in dominant fashion. Plus, with the threat of Quinn's power looming over her head, there literally wasn't a better time to win immunity. No matter what shenanigans went down this week, it wouldn't end with Angela's demise. Life number 4.
God! Oh, I got HOH 2 times!
After the HOH, Angela and Tucker celebrated and locked in that they were working together. And it was really nice to see Angela finally have someone looking out for her in the game. They then basically made a final 2 deal, and they were going to take this thing all the way.
I'm so glad I saved you.
The two then discussed who Angela would nominate if she somehow got the chance to do so, and it seemed like they came up with Quinn, Cedric, and Brooklyn. Quinn and Cedric were obvious, but I should probably explain the Brooklyn choice. During the HOH competition, Brooklyn got pretty upset with Angela because Angela targeted her twice and got her eliminated from the comp. Angela did this because the two of them never talked game, so it just made sense. But Brooklyn took this very personally. It was actually really funny seeing Brooklyn all worked up over it.
Angela picks me again. I am furious. Noted?
But I feel like it may have gone a little bit further than just this HOH comp. You see, Brooklyn had this whole thing where she wanted to be the first married mother ever to win Big Brother. But you know who else was a married mother inside the house? Angela. And I feel that inherently made Angela a bit of a rival for Brooklyn. Brooklyn called out Angela for targeting her in the HOH comp, but Angela wasn't having it, and it was really funny to watch.
Why did you do that?
You're smart. I really wanted this again. I put
Felt
that on
personal.
everything. Honey, it was not personal.
Cry me a river, Brooklyn. I did go after you in the HOH. Don't take it so personally. What are we in high school, Brooklyn? This is Big Brother.
Overall, though, it did seem like Brooklyn was now gonna come after Angela in the future. But like, so did everyone else. So get in line, Brooklyn.
Angela now has an enemy in me.
Anyways, Angela never actually got to make any nominations because Quinn activated his power before noms, and he secretly, but not actually secretly, nominated Tucker, Mackenzie, and Cedric for eviction, with Tucker being his primary target, Mackenzie being his backup target, and Cedric being a pawn to hide the fact that the two of them were actually really closely working together. It kinda sucked that Angela had her HOH power stripped away from her, but in a way, it also prevented Angela from making any more enemies by nominating them. I'm just trying to find some sort of positive here.
Go ahead, Quinn. Take over my HOH noms. You go ahead and get the dirt on your hands. I don't care. I'm safe.
Angela ended up getting a great result in the veto comp once Tucker pulled out the win again, because now this meant that both her and Tucker were safe from Quinn's HOH reign. Tucker actually did save himself with the veto this time, and Quinn nominated Rubina in his place, because Rubina was in a bit of a showmance with Tucker.
So I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get you out of this house, Quinn. So I'm sticking around for another week.
Look, having Tucker as an ally was great, but Angela wanted a few more connections. So I give Angela a lot of credit here because she went up to Tucker, Chemo, Rubina, and T-Core and flat out just asked to be a part of their alliance that she assumed they had. It was pretty awkward, but eventually they agreed, and just like that, the Tanks Alliance was born.
I'm listening at the door, and I hear voices.
Can I please be part of this? You guys already probably have something. Just let me be part of that, please. I can be on the bottom.
Can someone else say something? She's right there.
Yeah, I'm down. I got nothing. Why don't we just be the Tanks?
Now, this alliance wasn't really all that solid, but you know what? At least it was something. And I love that Angela had no shame and she just went for it. As for the week, Mackenzie seemed to be the target, but if she won the AI arena, then Rubina would be evicted over Cedric. But T-Core and Chemo secretly made a plan to flip the vote onto Cedric and save Rubina if it came down to that. And guess what? For the first time in forever, Angela was actually kind of let in on the plan, and she stated that if it came down to a tie and she got the tiebreaker vote as the real HOH, that she would evict Cedric over Rubina. What's funny is that for Angela's personal game, it would be best if this plan didn't even need to happen and for Mackenzie to just lose the AI arena and go home. Because let's not forget, Angela was still on Mackenzie's hit list because of the week 1 Matt stuff. But let's take our small victories here. Angela was being included in plans for like the first time ever, and that's a win. As luck would have it, Mackenzie did actually win the AI arena, and then by a vote of 6-3, Cedric was blindsided and evicted from the Big Brother house, with Quinn, Cam, Chelsea, and Brooklyn being left out of the plan.
Hello, T-Core.
Hi, Julie.
Please cast your vote to evict.
I vote to evict Cedric.
Cedric.
Cedric. Cedric.
Cedric.
Cedric.
Rubina. Rubina.
Rubina.
By a vote of 6-3, Cedric, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
Oh my god.
Even though Angela had her HOH power stripped away from her, she was the one getting the last laugh here, as Quinn's reign completely blew up in his face and one of his closest allies and one of Angela's initial targets walked out the front door.
Cedric, I am your mama in here and will always have a big place for you in my heart. Love and kisses.
Going into week 5, all of Angela's progress could have been wiped away had the wrong person come into power. But luckily, that's not what happened. And instead, Tucker won the HOH. For the first time this season, Angela was poised to have something that she had yet to experience. A worry-free off week. I'm not even going to use one of her lives. During this week, there were some small adjustments to Angela's position in the house. The 5-person Tanks Alliance turned into a 6-person alliance called 6th Avenue, where they basically just added Joseph to the group. So, I guess that's kind of an extra number for Angela. Can't be too mad at that.
I always thought 6th Avenue.
Okay, I like it.
Anyways, Tucker nominated Quinn, Brooklyn, and Cam for eviction, with Brooklyn actually being his secret target. Tucker won the veto again, and, like usual, he wanted to make a big splash. So, at the veto meeting, he shockingly took Quinn off the block, named Chelsea as the replacement, and then started airing out all these different alliances and exposing them to the house. Funnily enough, one of those alliances was actually the Collective from week 1. What Angela didn't know is that after she kinda exposed it, the other 7 members just reformed the alliance, but they replaced Angela with Brooklyn. None of this stuff directly impacted Angela, but it was definitely good for her game that literally everyone else in the house was having their positions exposed, and in turn, they were losing trust in one another.
I poisoned the well, no one in there is gonna be able to trust nobody.
Brooklyn was still the main target after the veto ceremony, and you know what? Good, because Brooklyn played dirty with Angela this week. Angela had gotten this awesome charcuterie board when she was HOH, but she was a have-not this week, so she wasn't allowed to eat it. Oh, that's okay. You can just eat it next week, Angela. Except no. Angela actually wouldn't get this opportunity because Brooklyn had the audacity to go and eat Angela's charcuterie board without even asking. This was the betrayal of all betrayals. Angela was crushed. So hell yeah, she wanted Brooklyn gone.
You're a have-not this week. Freaking give me your cheese and meat. Ooh, that is good.
She's freaking eating my charcuterie stuff.
It was awarded to me. She did not ask me.
When eviction night came, Chelsea ended up winning the AI arena, meaning that Brooklyn was still on the block. So, Angela and nearly everyone else voted to evict her. And by a vote of 8-1, Brooklyn was evicted from the Big Brother house. Another week, another one of Angela's enemies gone from the game.
Hi, Angela.
Hi, Julie.
Please cast your vote to evict.
I vote to evict the beautiful Brooklyn.
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 Brooklyn. Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
Cam.
By a vote of 8-1, Brooklyn, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
In general, Angela was having a really impressive upswing that I never expected to see. After having one of the wildest week 1 HOHs, one of the worst week 2 performances I have ever seen, and then having one foot pretty much out the door in week 3, Angela was legitimately in a good position. Her weeks 4 and 5 were really solid, and she didn't do anything to blow up her spot.
Brooklyn, actions speak louder than words, and you shouldn't have eaten my charcuterie board stuff.
Going into week 6, it seemed like Angela got another awesome outcome once T-Core won the HOH. Angela was aligned with T-Core, so it seemed like she was poised for another easy week. Well, for some reason, Angela got really paranoid that T-Core was going to nominate her, but that didn't happen. T-Core instead nominated Mackenzie, Cam, and Tucker for eviction, with Tucker volunteering to be a pawn and Mackenzie being the target.
Why are you crying?
I feel like I'm going home.
That's not even business.
That's not something.
You're not nominating me.
Cam ended up winning the veto to take himself off the block, but other than that, not that much else of intrigue happened. Well, some of the women taught Angela how to twerk this week. That was cool. Oh, and Angela also had a punishment where she had to pick up 1,000 green orbs in the backyard. That was pretty neat. And, oh yeah, T-Core nominated Angela as the replacement nominee. Whoa. Hold on a second. What? Well, let's rewind because it turns out a lot of stuff actually happened this week. So, you know how Angela and Tucker basically had a final 2 deal? Well, they were just chilling in the backyard, and Tucker wanted to reaffirm to Angela that he trusted her more than anyone else in the house. including Rubina, his showmance.
I trust you more than pretty much everybody in here. Regardless that Rubina and I have this showmance, I was there for you first, and I'm not gonna forget that.
Tucker was actually telling the truth here. He trusted Angela over everyone. But unfortunately, Angela wasn't buying it. In her mind, it would be silly for Tucker to not trust Rubina the most. So the fact that Tucker was sitting here saying that he trusted her the most, well, that just made Tucker a very convincing liar. And that was dangerous.
He's having relations, for crying out loud, with Rubina and tries lying to me that he isn't going to take her to final two. He's good. He's really, really good.
Angela didn't just want to sit around and get played by Tucker. So she was going to do the unthinkable.
I'm going to rally to get Tucker out.
Naturally, in order to do this, Angela went to Quinn, Mackenzie, and Leah and tried roping them into the plan.
Let's make something happen.
That's a pretty bold move to go and trust the three people that probably wanted to target you the most in the game, but hey, go off, Angela. Naturally, Quinn went straight up to Tikor and used everything that Angela just said against her. And this now made Angela the perfect renom after Cam took himself off the block. Quinn then told Tucker that Angela ratted him out, and Tucker and Angela spilled it all in the bathroom.
You still don't trust my word after everything? I can't believe it.
You were with Rubina.
I'm loyal to my word. I would kick Rubina out before you.
Why would you take me?
Because I started with you first.
Even after Angela had betrayed Tucker, Tucker still went to bat for Angela, and he pitched to Tikor that Angela shouldn't be the replacement nominee and that Leah should be instead. Unfortunately, the damage had already been done, and Tikor named Angela as the replacement nominee.
I am naming Angela as the replacement nominee.
After being nominated, Angela called out Quinn in front of everyone, knowing that he once again ratted out something she said to him. And then, for whatever reason, she also kind of exposed the Tanks Alliance. And I really don't know why she did that. Well, okay, to be fair, Tikor did just nominate her, but she still shouldn't have done that.
If any of the house guests would care to listen to what I have to say, I would really appreciate it.
Not at all.
I walked in on an alliance that he had, and I asked, could I please be a part of this?
Oh my goodness, Angela!
After 2 weeks of playing it cool, the paranoia monster came creeping right back up on Angela. And unfortunately for her, it caused her to turn on this really great thing she had with Tucker.
I played messy, and I'm paying for it now.
So the final nominees were Angela, Tucker, and Mackenzie. And it really felt like any one of the three of them could be evicted. Tikor and the rest of the 6th Avenue Alliance still wanted to target Mackenzie. But if she won the AI arena, then they were going to evict Angela over Tucker. So, going into eviction night, it seemed like Angela's worst case scenario would be if Mackenzie won the AI arena. As long as that didn't happen though, then things...
Congratulations, Mackenzie!
Oh, well, this was it again. Angela and Tucker were on the block, and as far as Angela knew, she was toast. Tucker had a ton of allies in the game, and the people that weren't Tucker's allies, like Quinn, Mackenzie, and Leah, well, they weren't exactly that fond of Angela, now were they? Angela gave a warrior speech, fighting to the very last second, but ultimately, it was out of her hands.
And Tucker is amazing, but I don't want to ride on somebody's coattails, and that's why I had the guts to do what I did. I want to stay here with you guys.
Knowing it was the end for one of them, Angela and Tucker reconciled and shared a touching hug together. And right after that, the players went in to vote. Julie then came on to announce the results, and by a vote of 5-3, Tucker was evicted from the Big Brother house.
Hello, Quinn. Please cast your vote to evict.
I hope this works. I vote to evict Mr. Brocode himself, Tucker.
Tucker.
Angela.
Angela.
By a vote of 5-3, Tucker, you are the 6th house guest evicted
I'm coming
from
on,
the Big Brother
Ziggy!
house.
It turns out that there was a secret plan put in place by Chelsea to blindside Tucker if he lost the AI arena. Chelsea managed to pull Cam, Leah, Mackenzie, and Quinn in on the plan, and they had the numbers to blindside not just Tucker, but Rubina, Tikor, Chemo, and Joseph too. So, once Mackenzie removed herself from the block, the 5 aforementioned players voted to evict Tucker, not Angela, and it was enough to get him out. So, even with Rubina, Chemo, and Joseph voting to evict Angela, it wasn't enough. By the skin of her teeth, Angela managed to survive this eviction vote, and she would live to see another week. Life number 5.
I love you. I do love you.
Losing Tucker was definitely detrimental to Angela's game because even after she turned on him, he was still going to fight for her and remain loyal to her. But now, not only was Tucker gone, but the members of the 6th Avenue Alliance, or the Tanks, or whatever you want to call them, didn't want to work with Angela anymore after she blew up their spot and turned on Tucker. So Angela was back to square one, being by herself. But Angela wasn't just going to wallow around in sadness. She knew she made her bed, and she was ready to sleep in it. This was about to be a different game with Tucker out of the house, and things were about to change big time.
I'm grateful to still be here, and I will do everything I can now with Tucker gone to fight for my place in this game.
Going into the Week 7 HOH comp, at the final 10, Angela needed to win. However, she started the competition later than everyone else, and the reasoning was pretty humorous. The first 3 players that messed up in this competition would be have-nots for the week, and Angela did not want to be a have-not. So, she literally refused to start the competition until 3 people messed up. And I think that's super freaking funny.
Everyone else is halfway there except for Angela, who refuses to move her egg until she sees 2 other people drop.
I am not eating slop for another 7 days.
Chelsea, if you drop and I get HOH, because I think I can do a good job of this.
I'm not doing that.
Oh.
Angela, you can start.
Okay.
What's a little bit less funny, though, is that Quinn ended up winning the HOH, and he made it clear right from the get-go that his target was undeniably Angela. This was the final round before jury began, and most people didn't want Angela to be a part of the jury because she was so unpredictable and wild that not only would nobody have any idea how she was going to vote, but they were also worried that Angela might try and poison the jury on whoever was against her. So, Quinn nominated Angela, Chemo, and Rubina, with Chemo and Rubina as pawns.
Puts me up on this fight.
I've nominated you, Angela, and so I'm asking, please go after the person that I feel should be sent home next.
Quinn has been the only one in this game that has continuously pushed me up against a wall, but I'm not running.
Angela only had so many lives in this game. Time and time again, she had found a way to survive, but this time it was for real. If she stayed on the block, she was actually going home. But there was one tiny sliver of hope, and it would come from an unlikely ally. I've mentioned this a ton of times, but after evicting Matt in week 1, the 2 players who were ready to come after Angela and avenge Matt's exit were Mackenzie and Leah. However, after spending so much time together in the house, Leah and Angela started to develop a small bond. This was mostly just on a personal level, nothing game-wise, but the 2 established a connection. And now that Angela was all alone, sitting on the block, Leah was hurting for her. She knew that Angela had been through the ringer all season long, and because of it, she was sympathetic, and the 2 of them bonded slightly more. It was small, but it was something.
It's always hard seeing Angela up on the block. I know she's had a tough time in this house.
Honestly, I don't think it'd be as easy for me if you weren't here.
I feel the same way about you, genuinely.
She has real conversations with me, and I feel close to her because of that.
So, when Leah was chosen to play in the veto, it sparked a little bit of hope inside Angela. And then, Leah won the veto. Now, even though Angela and Leah had developed a personal relationship, It wasn't a game relationship. Leah had no obligation to use the veto on Angela, and Angela knew this. In fact, Angela even said that she wasn't going to pressure Leah into saving her because she didn't want to jeopardize Leah's position in the game if it wasn't the best thing for her to do.
Although I would love for her to use the veto on me, I simply cannot ask her to do so. Whatever decision she makes needs to be best for her game.
And I think this was actually the best thing Angela could do. It showed Leah that Angela wasn't just trying to use her for safety, and that their bond was actually genuine. Knowing that, this actually made Angela a very desirable person for her to keep in the game. Leah had been playing the game very passively up to this point, but for the first time, she had power, and she was ready to use it. Although Quinn and Leah were very close, and Quinn begged her not to use it, Leah chose to make a move for herself.
Please, please don't do it. Please, please, please.
So, at the veto meeting, Leah shocked everyone when she chose to use the veto to save Angela.
I have to prioritize what's best for my game. I have decided to use the power of veto on Angela.
For the first time this season, Angela's social game actually saved her. She was dead to rights if she remained on the block, but the bond she cultivated with Leah proved strong enough for Leah to feel comfortable going against Quinn and saving his literal #1 target with the veto. Life number 6.
You're amazing. I don't want to scare you for you.
With this newfound life, Angela vowed her loyalty to Leah. She would be her ride or die final 2 ally, and Angela felt eternally indebted to her. She didn't need Tucker anymore. She had Leah, and that was more than enough.
I love you in any capacity that you need.
She's like a daughter to me, and I really do see her and I seriously going to the end together.
Back to the veto meeting, though. After Quinn was blindsided, he chose to name Joseph as the replacement nominee as a pawn. And oh my god, there was some delicious irony at play here. Before the veto ceremony, Joseph laughed at Angela, telling her how surprised he was that she was still even alive in the game. But now, the tables had completely turned around, and it was Joseph in the hot seat. The irony was not lost on Joseph nor Angela, and Angela loved it.
Like, just to be quite frank with you, I'm amazed you're still here.
Sorry, Joseph, but to be quite frank, I'd be surprised if you're still here. You really can't write this.
The irony is not lost on me.
Oh my gosh, Joseph, would you like a knife and fork to just eat your words right now? Ah!
Now, as much as Angela would have loved to vote Joseph out, it wasn't what she was gonna do. Leah was very close with Joseph and wanted him to stay. And since Angela was indebted to her, she was going to do what Leah wanted. It seemed that the house had decided on voting Chemo out if he was left on the block. So even though Angela really liked Chemo, it was his time to go. When eviction night came and Rubina won the AI arena, it felt that Chemo's fate was sealed. With Chemo and Joseph on the block, it looked like the vote would be 5-2 for Chemo to be evicted, with T-Core and Rubina being the votes for Chemo to stay, as those three were in a trio. Angela really wanted to keep Chemo here and send Joseph packing, but she knew that the numbers weren't there to save him. So she reluctantly voted to evict Chemo. After the other players voted, Julie came on the TV, and by a vote of 4-3, Joseph was evicted from the Big Brother house.
Hello, Angela.
Hi, Julie.
Please cast your vote to evict.
I'm sorry, Chemo. I don't have the numbers to keep you. My vote is to evict Chemo.
Chemo.
Joseph.
Joseph.
By a vote of 4-3, Joseph, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
Wow. This season was the season of blindsides. What ended up happening here is that the speech that Chemo gave before everyone voted was so moving that it convinced both Mackenzie and Chelsea to flip their votes, albeit Chelsea was wanting to flip anyways. What's funny is that Chelsea actually thought that Angela was going to evict Joseph too because of their little thing this week. But no, Angela voted to evict Chemo. This was just a very confusing vote with a lot of components at play. But in the end, Angela's wish for Chemo to stay in the house did come true, even if she voted against it.
I really thought that the house all voting for Joseph to stay, and now I'm on the wrong side of the votes.
I just didn't think I had the numbers. God, I love you so much.
I love you
just
too.
need you to know that.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
With Joseph now out of the house, there were only 9 players left. The AI Arena twist was now over, and from here on out, there would only be 2 nominees each week. I really never thought that Angela would make it here, but I can now officially say that Angela had made it to the jury stage of the game.
Hello, humans. I want to congratulate all of you on making it to at least the jury.
After being on the wrong side of the vote, Angela felt like she needed to win some power. But that didn't happen, and instead, Chelsea won the final 9 HOH. Angela tried pleading to Chelsea to not put her on the block. But of course, Chelsea didn't listen to her. Not only did Chelsea nominate Angela and Chemo for eviction, but of course, Angela was in fact her tentative primary target.
I feel very dispensable.
Then, at the veto, Angela thought she had a legit shot at winning it after performing really well in the first round. Yes! But it turns out that Angela and 4 other people got the answer incorrect, which crowned Mackenzie the veto winner after just 1 single round. Mackenzie winning the veto seemed like the absolute worst outcome for Angela. Mackenzie had been looking to target Angela all season long, so she would never, ever, ever use the veto to save her. Right? Well, Angela knew her back was way up against the wall. She was willing to do anything to stay in the game. The night after veto, Angela was having trouble sleeping, so she went out for a little stroll. As she was walking, she saw a group of 5 players hanging out outside: Chemo, Tikor, Rubina, Quinn, and Leah.
I can't sleep. I notice people are missing.
As Angela does, she instantly came to the conclusion that, oh my god, those 5 people are forming an alliance to take me out of the game and run this house.
I know this sounds really crazy, and maybe I am crazy, but I have a sixth sense that these 5 solidified something to keep Chemo here and send my butt home.
Was this true? Come on, you should know by now that they were just hanging out and not actually forming an alliance. However, Angela also knew that this time she might be able to use her paranoia to her advantage. In this moment, Angela turned into D'Angela Giesling, if you will. And she made a plan to convince those in the game that were targeting her to instead use the veto on her and save her.
I want that veto around my neck, and the only way I can guarantee that is to tell Chelsea something was getting cooked up last night.
The next morning, Angela approached Chelsea and spilled everything that she saw, utilizing the group of 5 to try and instill fear into Chelsea. Now, humorously, Angela was throwing Leah under the bus just 1 week after she vowed undying loyalty to her. But a girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do. And besides, Angela wasn't singling out Leah, per se, just making Chelsea aware that this group of 5 could be very threatening to Chelsea's game. Much more threatening than sweet little Angela.
Chemo and Rubina solidified something with Quinn and Leah. I'm screwed, you're gonna be screwed, unless we all flip this game on its head. It's important that I get that veto.
What she's telling me actually makes sense, and that is not good for me.
Surprisingly, Chelsea actually bit, and she seemed to believe Angela at first. But unfortunately, it only took Chelsea a little bit of digging to realize that the group of 5 was not real, and that Angela had been lying to her. Mission failed. This should be the end of Angela. But hold the phone, we've only used 6 lives. We can't be done yet. It turns out, even though Angela's plan didn't succeed in convincing Chelsea, it did succeed in getting Chelsea to start thinking about Quinn and Leah being threats. Once that ball started rolling, Chelsea began to realize that, hey, Quinn is a pretty big threat. He's good at comps, he lies all the time, and he could win this game. So her and Mackenzie talked, and they said, F it, let's take a big swing.
If you take chemo off, you still have Quinn, Leah, and the 3 rocking with each other, and we don't have numbers. So use it on Angela.
At the veto meeting, Mackenzie stood up and somehow used the veto on Angela, and Chelsea named Quinn the replacement nominee.
I have decided to use the power veto on Angela.
Oh my gosh, this can't be real.
Genuinely, what the f? Somehow, for the 32nd week in a row, Angela figured out a way to slither out of the crosshairs and remain safe. And I give Angela a decent chunk of the credit this time. So many players don't even make an attempt at saving themselves when they find themselves in a position similar to Angela. Had Angela not tried to convince Chelsea about the 5-person alliance, then Chelsea probably doesn't start thinking about Quinn and Leah as immediate threats to her game. Even if Angela's plan didn't work exactly as intended, Angela was the one who tipped over the first domino, and that chain reaction directly led to Chelsea switching her target to Quinn and Mackenzie using the veto on Angela. Mackenzie! Remember back in week 1 when Mackenzie and Leah were in the bathroom crying over Matt's eviction and promising to take out Angela because of it? Well, this was now back-to-back weeks where they each used the veto to save her. I have never seen a rebound like this. Oh, and also, this broke a Big Brother record. No player in Big Brother history has ever had someone else use the veto to save them 3 times in a single season. Until now. And to top it all off, Angela's longtime rival Quinn was on the block in her place. He was in the hot seat and she was safe. Life number 7.
Oh my gosh! I'm like a cockroach. You can't kill me. And Quinn is up on the block.
Angela is the greatest player of all time.
Now, Leah was understandably a bit upset with Angela because she learned that Angela had said her name to Chelsea. But Angela denied, saying that she never directly threw Leah under the bus. Now, technically, Angela did sort of do that, but I genuinely do think that Angela wasn't trying to hurt Leah's game specifically, and she was just trying to save herself by pointing the finger in the direction that Leah may or may not have been in.
It was said that you heard me starting something with people.
Leah, I didn't say that. Leah, I didn't say that. I promise you, Leah, I didn't throw you under the bus.
Angela actually did pretty solid damage control with Leah, and eventually smoothed things out and kept her on her side. Because of this, Angela agreed to vote with Leah. And this meant that with Quinn and Chemo on the block, Angela was actually going to vote for Quinn to stay. For the record, Angela 100% wanted Quinn gone over Chemo. She really liked Chemo. But Leah was very close to Quinn. And according to Leah and others, it seemed like the numbers were there for Quinn to stay. It was simply too dangerous to leave the trio of Chemo, T-Core, and Rubina intact this late in the game. So when eviction night came, Angela once again voted against Chemo despite not wanting to. And by a vote of 4-2, Quinn was evicted from the Big Brother house.
Hello, Angela.
Hi, handsome Jerry.
Thank you. Please cast your vote to evict.
I sadly struggled, but I have to vote to evict Chemo. Chemo.
Quinn.
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 Quinn. By a vote of 4-2, Quinn, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
So yeah, it turns out that Chelsea, Cam, and Mackenzie made a secret plan to evict Quinn, and they just never clued in Leah and Angela. This put Angela in a pretty weird spot because for the second week in a row, the player that Angela personally wanted to leave the game did leave the game, but she incorrectly voted to evict Chemo, someone she actually cared for both times. So, going into the final 8, Angela was left confused and puzzled as to what the heck was going on in this house.
I'm shocked. I didn't want to be on the wrong side of the votes again this week.
I voted for him who wanted me out of this game so badly to stay.
Going into the final 8, the house guests learned that they were going to be living in the backyard for the whole week. And the fun kicked right off with an endurance competition for HOH. Angela was locked in and crushing it. She refused to step down until she knew that she had some sort of safety. After about 8 hours, only Angela, Leah, and Cam remained. And Angela started proposing some deals.
I'm doing everything I can to negotiate. I am not stepping down until I know that I am guaranteed safety.
We should just agree no matter what. We shouldn't put each other up. You do want to agree on that?
Yeah.
I agree too.
I'm wheeling and dealing over here, ladies.
Now, Angela knew that she was already safe with Leah, so this was mostly an attempt to get safety from Cam. And it worked. Cam agreed to keep Angela off the block if he won HOH. And I give Angela a ton of credit for taking the initiative and making sure that she got safety before stepping off. Once the deal had been made, Angela made a really sweet move. She had already won HOH twice and gotten her letters from home, but Cam and Leah had never won it. So, since she was already safe, she chose to step down and give the two of them a chance to hear from their families. And it was a nice and genuine human moment from her.
And I've got letters and I've got pictures, and Leah and Cam have not.
I would like the HOH, but in my heart, I feel like one of you deserve it more. You guys can battle it out.
Angela definitely preferred for Leah to win the HOH. And that's what happened. Her closest ally was now in power, and Angela had a break week. So, I'm not even using one of her lives here.
Leah winning HOH is so exciting. I'm finally gonna get a break this week, and it feels great.
At this stage of the game, there were 3 distinct groups within the house. There was one trio consisting of Tikor, Chemo, and Rubina, with Tikor as the leader. Then, there was a second trio consisting of Chelsea, Cam, and Mackenzie, with Chelsea as the leader. And lastly, there was the duo of Leah and Angela. Since Leah and Angela had the power, they had to make a decision. Angela kinda wanted to go big and throw up both Tikor and Chelsea, and I think this would have been an amazing move. But Leah ended up not going in that direction, instead choosing to hone in on just Tikor's trio. And even then, she chose to play it extra safe by not putting Tikor on the block and instead nominating Chemo and Rubina. This wasn't like the worst thing ever for Angela, far from it. But Angela was hoping to make a bigger move. The only way for Angela to have the possibility of making a bigger move, though, would be if she had power. And she needed the veto in order to do that.
Leah's goal is to break up that trio. I can still help her make that happen while making a move that benefits my game.
So, going into the veto competition, Angela was hoping that she could finally pull out another win. And guess what? Angela did win the veto. Angela's celebration was hilarious and super well deserved.
Yep, I think that's it.
Maybe I'll be the one putting it around someone else's neck for a change.
There was also a second weaker veto at play here, but I'm not going to talk about it because it was inconsequential to what happened. This was Angela's 3rd competition win this season, so there was no more ignoring it. Angela was low-key a comp demon, and I bet nobody expected that coming into the season. With the veto in her hands, Angela knew pretty much right away what she wanted to do with it. You see, she felt terrible for voting to evict Chemo the prior 2 weeks, and she knew that he probably felt some sort of way about her because of it. So Angela's heart was telling her to use the veto to save him, which would prove to him that she really did care for him, and hopefully this would mend the bridge between them. Plus, maybe this could be the first step towards working together with Chemo again. Plus, this meant that Tikor, a much bigger threat, could go up in his place. So, at the veto meeting, Angela used the veto to save Chemo, and Leah named Tikor the replacement.
If I can use this veto to help mend our relationship, it'd be far better than to have him bitter at me in the jury house.
I have decided to use the veto on Chemo.
As much as Angela and Leah would have loved for Tikor to be the target, they figured that the votes just wouldn't be there to get her out, so it seemed like Rubina would be the one evicted. However, Mackenzie surprisingly brought up to Angela that she also wanted Tikor to be evicted this week, and Mackenzie was actually able to rally the votes to make it happen.
So my vote would be for Tikor to go home, but I don't know that I have the votes that way. I would do the same thing.
I'm hoping that Cam will vote with Angela and I, and we can all send Tikor to the jury house.
So, when eviction night came, Angela voted to evict Tikor, and by a vote of 4-1, Tikor, one of the biggest threats in the game, was evicted from the Big Brother house.
Hi, Angela.
Hi, Julie.
Please cast your vote to evict.
I vote to evict the beautiful, talented Tikor.
Tikor. Rubina.
By a vote of 4-1, Tikor, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
This week may have actually been Angela's best week in the entire season. Not only did she win her third competition, but she used that comp win to repair her relationship with Chemo and put in motion the move to get Tikor evicted. On top of building a better relationship with Chemo, she also started to build a new relationship with Mackenzie. Because of their shared interest in the vote this week, Angela and Mackenzie spent some time together, and it seemed like a new grouping of Angela, Leah, and Mackenzie could legitimately become a thing. So, going into the final 7, Angela was optimistically breathing new life.
We are so close to the end, so I'm feeling hopeful.
After Tikor's eviction, the players were allowed back inside, and the final 7 HOH kicked off. Angela was looking to win power and make a huge move by backdooring Chelsea, and she was in the lead at the start of the competition. Ultimately, though, she ended up finishing in 3rd, and Mackenzie won the HOH instead. Now, initially, this seemed like an okay outcome. Angela and Mackenzie had just started working together. But that illusion quickly faded away once Mackenzie told Angela that she was going to nominate her as a pawn to get Chemo out. And Mackenzie did in fact nominate Angela and Chemo for eviction.
I have nominated you, Chemo, and you, Angela.
I had a glimmer of hope, but she's not willing to make big moves right now. I'm tired of being the habitual pawn. I'm tired of it.
This was Angela's 6th time on the block, and that sucked. What sucked even more, though, was that Mackenzie was lying to her. Chemo wasn't the target. She was. Even though Angela and Mackenzie had built up a connection the prior week, Mackenzie decided to just throw that away because, well, actually, I don't know why Mackenzie was doing this. It wasn't a good move. The reasoning doesn't actually matter, though. What mattered is that Angela was once again on the block and once again the target.
Angela has got to go this week because she has surprisingly become a big threat in this house.
If Angela could win this veto, then she could escape the imminent eviction that she didn't even know was coming. But unfortunately, she lost it, and Mackenzie won the veto instead. Well then, Mackenzie had all the power, she had the numbers behind her, and she wanted Angela gone. The only person that Angela would have a chance to survive eviction next to was Leah. But Angela would never push for that, since she cared for Leah deeply. Plus, even if she wanted to, there was no way that Mackenzie would ever put up Leah, because they had had each other's backs from the very beginning of the game. So, naturally, at the veto meeting, Mackenzie used the veto to save Chemo, and she named Leah as the replacement nominee. Okay. That was certainly unexpected, and Angela was blindsided. So, why did that just happen? Well, it really just boils down to the fact that Chelsea wanted Leah gone badly, and she was able to manipulate Mackenzie into turning against her week 1 bestie and putting her on the block. The thing is, Mackenzie didn't actually want Leah to go home. She still wanted Angela gone. But now that Leah was on the block, there was simply no way that Chelsea was going to change her mind. Having Leah go home would be devastating for Angela's game. That was her closest ally. But it was better for Leah to get evicted than for herself to get evicted.
Campaigning against Leah will definitely be one of the hardest things that I have to do. But this is my dream, and I have to fight for my dream.
Leah had been a fantastic ally for Angela the past few weeks, but unfortunately, it was her time to go. When eviction night came, the vote wasn't close. By a unanimous vote of 4-0, Angela's best friend and final ally, Leah, was evicted from the Big Brother house.
This situation sitting next to Leah couldn't be less ideal. I love this girl with everything. I ask you to keep me.
Hello, Cam.
So what's up?
Please cast your vote to evict.
I vote to evict Leah. Leah.
Leah. Leah.
By a vote of 4-0, Leah, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
Angela was the target at the start of the week. Her eviction notice should have been signed once Mackenzie won the veto. But the universe came in to save Angela one more time, as Chelsea's determination to get Leah out conveniently pushed Angela out of the line of fire. It was a very tight week, but in the end, Angela survived her third eviction night on the block. Life number 8. Only one life left. With that, somehow, Angela found herself at the start of the end game. But her night wasn't finished just yet. It was double eviction time.
But honestly, I will never stop fighting until finale night.
Can't stop me now.
Going into the double eviction HOH, Angela felt that it was do or die. She needed to win this competition or she was toast. Unfortunately, she started the competition slow, and with only 2 questions left, she was 2 points behind Chelsea. But she got the next question right, and Chelsea got it wrong. And then, on the last question, Chelsea missed it, and Angela got it right again. This was looking to be an all-time comeback. If Angela could beat Chelsea in this tiebreaker, Angela would have the power to take a big shot and severely shake up the game. Julie read the tiebreaker question. And Angela guessed way above the correct answer, crowning Chelsea the final 6 HOH.
10,102 minutes. Congratulations, Chelsea!
That was definitely a heartbreaker. As it was a double, Chelsea had to make her nominations immediately, and she nominated Angela and Chemo for eviction, with Angela as the target. This upcoming veto was everything. Angela's final chance to save herself. The competition began, and Angela was killing it. She was beating Chelsea, Rubina, Cam, and Mackenzie. But she wasn't beating Chemo. Despite coming so close to the win, she wasn't fast enough, and she finished in second place behind Chemo, and he won the power of veto.
2 minutes left. Oh, congratulations!
Chemo used the veto on himself, Chelsea nominated Rubina in his place, and that was it. Angela fought so hard this night. She survived the first eviction. She got second in the HOH comp, and then she got second in the veto comp. But second place wasn't enough. After a truly one-of-a-kind season, Angela's flame had been put out. The 3 eligible players went to cast their votes, and by a vote of 3-0, Angela was finally evicted from the Big Brother house. Life number 9. Game over.
It has been a phenomenal up and down roller coaster that I wouldn't trade for the world. Thank you, house guests.
Aloha again, Chemo.
Aloha again, Julie.
Please cast your vote to evict.
I sadly vote to evict Angela.
Angela. By a vote of 3-0, Angela, you are evicted from the Big Brother house.
In her final moments, Angela could have cried and been sad and gone out with her head hanging. But that's not who she is. Instead, she stood tall and proud, recognizing the difficulty and absurdity of the journey she just had, and she gave one final over-the-top speech to cap off her legacy.
This freaking fun woman is a threat! That makes me feel damn proud. And I would have taken his ass to the end, just so you know! Just so you know! Thank you for the summer of my life.
With that, Angela Murray walked out of the Big Brother house. Maybe not to the confetti she had been hoping for, but still to a roaring applause from an audience that cheered and clapped for the star of the season. There will never, ever be a player like Angela Murray again. She came into the game, unexpectedly won the first head of household, caused massive amounts of chaos while in power, and then she never really let off the brakes. While she did succeed in getting her week 1 rival Matt evicted, she made herself such an easy target for the coming weeks. But something would always happen to keep her alive in the game, even if she had nothing to do with it. In week 2, she thought she was the target, but then the house chose to evict Lisa instead. In week 3, she was on the block, about to go home, but then Tucker used the veto to save her out of nowhere. Then, she won her second HOH in week 4 in very clutch fashion, keeping her safe from Quinn's power, where she otherwise would have been the likely evictee. At this point, Angela actually started to sneak into some alliances in the house, and she had Tucker as her closest ally. But in week 6, her paranoia got the best of her once more, and she turned on Tucker, incorrectly thinking that he was lying to her, and it ended up getting her nominated. Although she managed to survive a very close vote next to Tucker, the damage had been done, and Angela's position in the house plummeted back down to the bottom. She once again looked to be the target in week 7 after her other rival Quinn won the HOH, but a slowly building bond with Leah came to a head at the perfect time, as Leah won the veto and saved Angela with it. Then, in the next week, it basically happened again. Angela was nominated at the final 9 and looked like she was going home. But Angela spread some seeds of doubt with the HOH Chelsea, and it created this domino effect that resulted in Mackenzie using the veto to save Angela and Quinn going up in her place instead, marking this as the 3rd time in 6 weeks that someone saved Angela with the veto. Then, at the final 8, Angela not only bolstered her competitive resume by winning the veto herself, but she also used it to bolster her position with Chemo. And later, she grew closer to Mackenzie as well. But everything finally started to fall apart for real at the final 7. Despite growing closer, Mackenzie still wanted to target Angela, and she saw the block for the 6th time. While her life was once again extended when Chelsea convinced Mackenzie to target Leah instead, it only gave Angela 1 extra hour. She fought her life out in the double eviction, coming so close to winning both competitions, but she fell just short. Chelsea simply had too much control in the mid to end game stretch, and it was too much to overcome. Angela had been the cat with 9 lives all season long, but this was her 9th life, and she was finally evicted, finishing in 6th place. The funny thing is, Angela wasn't actually in a bad spot heading into the double eviction. Mackenzie was actually the secret target for everyone competing in the HOH except for Chelsea. Had Chemo, Rubina, or even Cam won that HOH, Angela may still have been nominated, yes, but she wasn't the direct target. So it's kind of funny that when the odds were finally in Angela's favor, luck wasn't on her side. In Chelsea, the one person that would actually target Angela was the one who won the HOH.
So they made the right choice.
They made the right choice.
And
I would have won this show. I would have freaking won this show!
Okay.
I know that Angela isn't everyone's cup of tea. She was an unreliable ally. She was throwing people under the bus all the time, even when it didn't make sense for her game. And in general, she wasn't a fantastic game player. But she also had the most heart I've seen in a very long time. Despite going through half the game without a single ally, being nominated 6 times, and being told by others that they were shocked that she was still around, she never gave up. She woke up every day, happy to be there, and she did whatever she thought she needed to do in order to extend her stay in the house. She was wild, she was active, and she was entertaining. She said it best herself at the beginning of the season.
I'm not like normal moms. Like, I'm a cool mom.
And clearly, she resonated with a lot of people other than myself too, because she finished top 3 in voting for America's favorite player.
The top 3 vote getters were Angela.
Even though Angela isn't a winner, I'm still gonna give her a score out of 10 to sum up her gameplay on the season. Now, I do think Angela's game has a lot of attributes indicative of a good player. She was an established competitor, winning 2 HOHs and a veto. She proved to be a very versatile and open-minded house guest, which we saw through her ability to try and work with players that had been against her earlier in the game, such as Leah, Mackenzie, and Quinn. And let's not forget that Angela had 3 different players save her with the veto. However, so much of that was because of outside factors completely out of Angela's control. For the majority of the game, Angela didn't know what was going on, but she was fortunate that the game being played around her often resulted in someone else being evicted instead of her. On top of that, Angela tanked her game on not just 1 occasion, but 2. In week 1, she could have been situated comfortably in an 8-person alliance, but she didn't think it was true, and then she blew it up. Then, in week 6, when she found herself back in a somewhat comfortable position with the Tank/6th Avenue alliances, she blew it all up again by turning on Tucker and then exposing the existence of the alliance after she was put on the block, which left her isolated and on the bottom once again. So overall, I'm gonna give Angela a 3.3 out of 10 on the player scale. But you should know at this point that gameplay isn't the thing that makes Angela so special. Angela's a star because of the chaos in life she sparked into the Big Brother 26 house, and the season would be just a husk of itself if she wasn't there.
I came here to find out who the hell I am. I'm strong, I'm resilient, I'm a fighter. I've always had it all along.
Now, the last thing I want you to think about before I close out this video is the stark contrast between this video and the one I made about Chelsea. It's the same game being played, yet 2 completely different storylines are being told. It's crazy how they traversed the same playing field, yet their specific paths are so distinct from one another that it can be kinda shocking to remember that they're coexisting at the same time. This is the beauty of Big Brother. Although I often present each season as one coherent storyline, it's so much more than that. It's 16 different storylines, each with the same beginnings, but with differing branches extending in countless directions. 1 starting square, 16 different endpoints. Bountiful stories to be told.
I'm spicy.
Is spicy just another form of being bitter?
I'm bitter too, yes.
And there we go. This was my first story video on a non-winner, and I'm so glad that it was about Angela, one of the most unique and original house guests of all time. Now, my next big video will be about how Dr. Will won Big Brother 2, and after that, we'll be pretty close to summertime, where I'll be posting more standard length videos twice a week for the entirety of Big Brother 27. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I, of course, need to give that extra special shout out to all of my YouTube members and patrons who are the only people in this world that could survive the block next to Angela. And I mean that in a good way. And, as always, here's a clip for you on your way out.
So that's out, but then you tuck it,
Yeah.
and you can release
Don't
it.
hunch, no.
And then it'll down.
I don't want to stay throwing ass, so I just said I'm rolling my butt.
Oh, I feel it.
I've nominated you, Angela.
Well, I deserve it.
I called names, and I know better than that.
I have been a target since day one.
You wanna know who else played survival since week 1? Taylor. She won the dang thing.
So Chelsea tells me I'm the Taylor Hale of the season. Okay, Chelsea, I'll be the Taylor Hale of the season. Those are good.
Angela whipping out her Jennifer Coolidge. It's very good.
It feels so good to be on Big Brother.
Angela, we're doing a shot together.
Hell yeah, I am. And if you guys have a pot, I'm gonna have a pot too. My eviction did not come as a surprise. Chelsea is obviously the one responsible, so I definitely do not want to see Chelsea win.
Angela has voted for. Congratulations, Chelsea!
Okay.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Do it.
Let's go!
Yes!
I hate that I'm a crybaby here. I hate it.
I don't believe we've been to the moon.
Leah and Quinn have a thing.
And I'm like, no, she doesn't have a thing for Quinn. Boys, watch out, because I'll be up there rolling some butt.